Do you know where the energy for this lamp comes from? From deep below the surface? From a faraway desert? Or from this nuclear power plant? Or does it come from the ground right here? The source of your energy is much closer than you think. Waste is an important source of energy. Twence has taken on the challenge to get as much energy and raw materials as possible from your waste. Using waste as fuel in the 3 incineration lines of its waste-to-energy plant, Twence generates enough power to supply electricity to over half the households in Twente. But Twence also produces energy in the form of heat. The company supplies steam to industry and hot water for district heating, among other things. After incinerating the waste, we salvage any remaining metals for use in new products. The remaining bottom ash is used in building roads and hydraulic engineering projects. But that's not all Twence does. In its waste sorting plant, Twence sorts through industrial waste and bulkier household waste. The various materials, such as stone, wood, paper, and plastics, can be reused, either as raw materials or as fuel. In its composting plant, Twence converts organic waste from kitchens and gardens into high-grade compost, a fine product for improving the soil structure. First, however, the biofuel methane is extracted from that organic waste in the fermentation plant. That gas is then used to generate electricity and heat. After undergoing fermentation, the organic material can be composted. The bulkier wooden remnants that cannot be composted will serve as fuel for the biomass power plant. This is just one example of how Twence combines different techniques to ensure the optimal use of waste. Waste wood is the most important source of fuel for the biomass power plant. The biomass is incinerated at a very high temperature. Just as in the waste-to-energy plant, the heat that is released at the biomass power plant is used to generate energy. Electricity produced from biomass is 100% green. Any waste that cannot be burned or reused is put into a landfill, but that is less than 5% of the total. Dumping takes place under strict conditions, according to the so-called ICM principle: isolation, control, and monitoring. And even the landfill is a source of energy. The methane gas that forms there is collected and used as fuel for special motors that generate electricity. Each year, Twence processes more than 830,000 tons of waste. We turn that into some 350,000 tons of useful products and raw materials, more than 405,000 megawatt hours of electricity, and 420,000 megawatt hours of thermal power. In the process, we save nearly 150 million cubic meters of natural gas and prevent nearly 270,000 tons of CO2 emissions every year. The contents of every gray rubbish bin that people put out on the street is converted that same week into electricity and heat at Twence. In that way, the population's waste comes back to them by way of the electric company in the form of sustainable energy. Together with the inhabitants of Twente, Twence makes everything come full circle.